What shall we do then if our fractions are different kinds of things? Suppose for a moment that we want to add 2/3 plus 3/4. Now this we're going to need to look at with a little bit more precision. So I'm not going to use hand-drawn number lines. I'm going to use these ones printed off from the computer. I'm going to look at my 2/3 and my 3/4. And now imagine picking up 3/4 and setting it down here so that it starts where my 2/3 ends. Where would it end up? It looks like maybe somewhere around here, wouldn't you say? So somewhere between 1 and 2. And this is a key thing to notice. Not on a third or on a fourth. I can't tell you what it is yet, but I can tell you one thing it definitely isn't. Here is a number line marked in sevenths. Here is the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sevenths. I can't tell you what 2/3 plus 3/4 is, but it is definitely not 5 sevenths. All right. I think I see what our problem is. Do you? This number line doesn't have enough fractions marked on it. Let's bring in a number line that shows the thirds and the fourths, and also something else. What do we see on this number line? On this number line we do see the thirds, and we see the fourths. But we also see all these little marks. We see that there's a little mark equivalent to every fourth, and a little mark equivalent to every third. How many of them are there? Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces of each unit. These are the twelfths. What do we see here? We see that each third is 4/12. Each fourth is 3/12, which means, well, we can draw our 2/3 and our 3/4, and we can copy our 3/4 super precisely. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. We see that 2/3 plus 3/4 is some number of twelfths. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Looking at this new number line, we see 2/3 plus 3/4, just by counting, is 17 twelfths. Interesting. So what did we need to do there? We needed a type of fraction where we could get equivalents to both the thirds and the fourths. We needed a common denominator. Okay, so now we know the answer, right? 2/3 plus 3/4 is 17 twelfths. How could we get there without the number line? More to the point, how could we know that twelfths were what we needed? Well, we needed a common denominator. What does a common denominator have to be? It has to be a common multiple of the two denominators we started with. So what we needed was a common multiple of 3 and 4. Because we like small numbers, we'll prefer the least. But in a pinch, any common multiple will do. If we can't come up with a least common multiple, we can just multiply 3 times 4. That's okay. In this case, actually the least common multiple is going to be 12. We can see that by listing multiples of 3 and multiples of 4, or even by looking at the appropriate rows in the multiplication table. We notice that the first number that appears in both the 3 row and the 4 row is 12. So we'll want to write our 2/3 as some number of twelfths, and our 3/4 as some number of twelfths. Well, what did we need to multiply 3 by in order to get 12? We needed to multiply it by 4. We're taking each third and splitting it into 4 equal parts. Oh, that's what we saw on our number line, didn't we? Each third is split into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. And so the 2/3 that are what we've taken are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 twelfths. 2 times 4 gives me 8 twelfths. Meanwhile, our 3/4, what did we need to multiply 4 by? We needed to multiply it by 3. See again on the number line, each of our fourths was divided into 1, 2, 3 equal parts. And therefore our 3/4 were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 twelfths. We'll multiply our 3 times 3, and we get 9 twelfths. Oh, but now these are like fractions, aren't they? We have 8 twelfths plus 9 twelfths. That's going to be some number of twelfths. 8 plus 9, that's 17. Okay, so this process then is what we need to get what we know from the picture has to be the correct answer. First, we'll write our fractions with a common denominator. Then, we'll add our fractions as like fractions. And then, if we feel like it, we can simplify the sum. That last step isn't always necessary, but we'll often want to simplify our answers. Let me give you one of these to try. Add 5/8 and 11/12. There's no need to simplify your answer, but pause the video and try this now. Alright, in order to add these, we're going to need a common denominator. So we need to find a common multiple of 8 and 12. 8 and 12 are both pretty small and they're close together, so I'm going to do this by listing multiples. Multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. I hope that'll be enough. Multiples of 12 are 12, 24. Oh, there we go. That was enough. My least common multiple is 24. So I'll want to write my 5/8 as some number of 24ths, and also my 11/12 as some number of 24ths. Well, to get from 8ths to 24ths, I take each 8th and I split it into 3 equal parts. How do I know 3? 8 times 1, 2, 3 is 24. Which means I want to multiply 5 by 3, and I get 15 24ths. How about 12ths? I had to split each 12th into 2 equal parts. 1, 2 times 12 is 24. So each of my 11/12 I split into 2 equal parts. 11/12 is 22 24ths. So to add 5/8 plus 11/12, I'll add 15 24ths plus 22 24ths. Let's see. 15 plus 22. 5 plus 2 is 7. 1 plus 2 is 3. I get 37 24ths. And now my instructions told me not to simplify my answer, so I'm finished.